Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez appeared on the Breakfast Club, and she had some very harsh words to say about Michael Bloomberg and his candidacy. Let's take a look.
Now, being from New York, what do you think about former Mayor Bloomberg running for president? What are your thoughts?
I think it's not a good idea. I think our experiences have seen this, from stop and frisk to the surge in housing costs in New York City.
How do you explain so many black people falling in line for Bloomberg?
Well, I think a lot of people don't know Bloomberg. Like, we're here in New York City. We lived under his tenure as mayor. We know exactly what he did.
I think they feel like he could beat Trump, and that's the main thing. That's what I think people look at.
That's not enough for me, just somebody that can beat Trump.
I agree. I agree. We have to beat Trump, but if we beat Trump and go back to the same policies that we had before, a worse Trump is gonna come. A Trump that's more sophisticated, whose fascism is less obvious, is going to come, and things could get even worse.
So yeah, harsh words, but I think they were obviously extremely accurate. And she knows, because of her experience living in New York City, living in one of the 5 boroughs, and now as a representative, she's dealt with her constituents who have faced the consequences of Bloomberg's horrific policies.
Yeah, I wouldn't even necessarily describe it as harsh words. I mean, the stuff that surrogates for the other candidates have been saying about Bernie Sanders have been particularly brutal lately. I think she acknowledged what is abundantly clear if you look at his record, what he would actually represent. I do agree that I think, like Elizabeth Warren said at the debate last night, I think that he is uniquely qualified to lose to Donald Trump. There are other candidates I think could lose too, but I think he is just a shoo-in. I think it would be one of those landslide elections. It would be an embarrassment that the Democratic Party would have earned by handing it to him. And if he somehow did become president, I think it would be absolutely horrendous. I mean, he's trying to present himself as like, basically like Biden and Buttigieg and the others, but he's way more right-wing. Obviously, I mean, he literally was a Republican than many of the other candidates that we've personally fought against in the past. Like, he's worse than Biden, worse than Hillary Clinton, worse than, go back as far as you want in the Democratic Party.
Worse than should John Kasich run for the Democratic nomination? I would so much rather have Kasich.
I would probably take Kasich over Bloomberg.
Are you kidding me? I'm telling you, I obviously live in New York, right? Bloomberg is super dangerous in ways that Trump is dangerous. I get it, it's not the exact same, but he would be a demagogue in a very similar way. He does not respect the Constitution, he doesn't respect rights. That's why he unconstitutionally stopped and frisked millions of black and brown young people in the city of New York. That's why he spied on Muslim citizens after 9/11 outside of the city, all across the tri-state area. He didn't respect constitutional rights whatsoever. And what Representative Ocasio-Cortez is saying there is from personal experience, being from the area, knowing that Michael Bloomberg was a terror for a lot of people, specifically people who are not wealthy, people who are not white. And she's speaking to the Breakfast Club there, who, I like them a lot, but again, stop repeating the notion that he can beat Trump. There's no empirical evidence that, besides just like polls based on random name recognition, that will certainly go down, that he would actually defeat Trump. And if you have a lick of political sense, you hear that guy talk, no shot, none.
And what I don't get about it is like we on our side of the spectrum, we're supposed to be able to put ourselves into the place of others and think about their experience. This is what drives our political values, a lot of the policies, is that we care about how other people see the world. But there's another little twist of that, is I can put myself in the place of Donald Trump and I can think about, who would I want to run against? Who would I want to be on the debate stage with? Who would help to nullify attacks against me? And look, I think he would like someone like Biden. I mean, obviously he was looking forward to having another campaign that would be like Hillary Clinton, where he just talks about corruption, international Biden Foundation, blah, 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 all that stuff. He'd love that. But Bloomberg is so much easier. First of all, he would literally steamroll him personality-wise, and he would be able to pretend to be a defender of non-white Americans, of women, because he would attack Bloomberg in the same way that we have been. And it would be far harder for the Democrats to point out how horrendous Trump is in those areas when they're having to stick up for Bloomberg, who's as enthusiastically and arrogantly, for people who look and have lived like him and no one else as Donald Trump is.
He's Trump light, and why are we trying to do a carbon copy of Donald Trump, except just a little bit more acceptable to the elitist class? That's not gonna work. We know when you run Republican light, Cenk made this point, when you run Republican light against a Republican, the real Republican wins. It would be the same thing with billionaires on billionaires.
Yeah.
And Representative Ocasio-Cortez went a little bit further in quotes that Newsweek found from that Breakfast Club appearance. The Congresswoman who is backing Bernie Sanders for the Democratic nomination said that while many people might see Bloomberg in a positive light as he donated vast sums of money to charities and nonprofits, they may have endorsed him without seeing what he did when he actually had a position of power. Because I like that she pointed out those charitable donations, because he used them not as charity, but as paying it forward, as almost a way to get those groups in his circle of influence to later call on them for favors and use them for his own political power, and oftentimes press power in New York City, and now as he's running for president.
Yeah, billionaire charity is great in individual cases, and in terms of how meaningful it is not at all. Doesn't mean anything to them. They can give it away the same way that I could, flip a penny into the trash, which was a controversy we had around here a while ago. It is as simple for them as that, and so no, I don't find it impressive. If you pretend that you're sticking up for people by putting a little bit of money into these charities, but then saying, having multiple interviews where you say that Social Security is a Ponzi scheme. Well, what if you were the president? What would happen to Social Security under you? How much do you really care about people when you're giving interviews saying that you think the NSA should be snooping on everyone's emails? Because you fundamentally don't care about the privacy rights of hundreds of millions of Americans. I don't care about the money he's given away. I care about what he is trying to stave off. He bought some endorsements so that he could become president, so that his taxes don't go up, because that would actually potentially cut into his wealth in a way that handing over a couple of $1 million never will.
Yeah, in fact, I would just say, to put a button on it, a lot of times when billionaires and wealthy people donate to charities, it's to get out of taxes.
It is, yeah, at the very least.
Yeah, they're businessmen. They know what and women, they know what they're doing, so.
Don't miss your chance to win a trip to Los Angeles and have dinner with Cenk, John, and me. Just head to tyt.com/dinnerinla to register to win. Sign up for a free Aspirations Spend and Save account. Then you just register your eligibility and swipe your aspiration card daily on purchases to gain entries. Not only are you entering to win a trip to Los Angeles and dinner with TYT hosts, you're also not depositing your hard-earned money into fossil fuel exploration or production. As a friendly reminder, even if you already have an aspiration account, you must still register for eligibility into the sweepstakes.